Hey guys, I'm thinking now that instead of like doing this intro that I do like every before, I do the story. I think I'll do that at the end of the chapter, and I'll just say like the chapter and like the name, and then read it in the beginning. So yeah, so I'm thinking about doing that. I'm thinking that'll just be better. Maybe save a little bit more time. So yeah, this is chapter 15, Ponies. The edge of night was lingering overhead when Rainbow Dash caught up with them. They had come to a stop at a flat clearing of dry soil along the... Oh my goodness. I'm gonna pause the recording because I have to sneeze. There we go. That was very loud, so I didn't want to... Alright. They had come to a stop at a flat clearing of dry soil along the eastern edge of a mountain. Several tall trees towered above, stretching crooked branches over their manes like skeletal wings. Parking their two wagons at sharp angles with one another, the equine figures worked to set up camp for the evening. There were 14 of them in total. It was a full caravan, and each individual was clad in thin stripes of dark brown armor. Some of them were hooded. Others wore metal leg plates that matched the silver cleats of their horseshoes. If anything, they all looked appropriately geared for contending with all sorts of unimaginable wildlife, judging from the unkempt nature of their lengthy coat hairs. Rainbow Dash assumed that they had been journeying for a long time across the mountainous landscape. Rainbow hid, perched quietly above the group, where she sat on a rocky outcropping. She stared 40 feet down at the scene. Her ears twitched. It had been weeks since she last heard pony voices, privy to such a busy conversation of muttering echoings. Was clearly an alarming sensation. There was not a single horn or set of wings to be seen among them, so that she wondered if they even had it in them to suspect a sentient creature eavesdropping from above. It wasn't as if she could make out entirely what they were saying. She heard something about a 2-day trip, about a deep river that needed traversing, about one of the ponies and his penchant for snoring in his sleep, followed by a burst of laughter. The ponies' voices were saturated with a thick accent the Rainbow had never heard before. She briefly contemplated how remarkable it was if she could understand them, even remotely, after having traversed so much in the wilderness. But as the minutes wore on, and the world above became darker, she grew less and less patient with these darkly clad strangers. They had been very interesting to talk about. The wagon supplies were filled with seemingly superfluous junk. Before her eyes, she witnessed as several burly members of the group fumbled goofily to start a fire. For the life of her, Rainbow could understand how so many adult ponies could appear so tactless. As their frustration and ire grew into the advent of night, Rainbow Dash yawned, stood up, and flexed her wings to take off for the east horizon, ditching them. She stopped suddenly upon spotting one particular pony's graceful gait. She squinted and lifted her goggles as she watched the figure march quietly away from the rest of the group, struggling to build a fire. Once he reached the fringes of the camp, he slumped to his haunches, sighed, and reached for his brown hood. Once the article was lowered, the air lit up with a shade of gold. A young pony sat, running a hand through a short patch of silken blonde hair. He doesn't have a hand, but whatever. Through a short patch of silken blonde hair that ended up behind his ears. With a look of supreme boredom, he glanced lethargically his party's way and exhaled slowly. Below Rainbow Dash, his lithe body appeared to melt into the shadows of his place, his golden head serving as a final beacon of the day. Rainbow blinked. She glanced from him to the rest of the group and then to him again. Slowly a smirk crossed her lips. Instead of flying away, she reached back for her saddlebag. I wonder what Rainbow Dash is going to do. Bye, everybody.